Hi, welcome back. Today's video is going to be a look at the final piece that I am getting ready for costume college. I'm super excited. Today we are taking my Edwardian gown that was one of the first major projects that I ever worked on and didn't turn out quite like I liked it, and turning it into something that I'm really proud of. All of the finishing pieces at the end are just exactly what I wanted them to be when I first started this project. So I hope that you stick around to see how it turns out. I will be vlogging costume college, so please hit the subscribe button below if you haven't already, and join me for all of my adventures in LA. I cannot wait to go. And without making this too much longer, here you go. So this is my Edwardian gown, and ever since I made it, there were a few things that I am just really not pleased with. The trim, the velvet really just never looked great. I'm just not pleased with the way it turned out. It's always a little bit wrinkly. I mean, it's a linen dress, so things are wrinkly, but I don't know. I just don't love it. I also think it ended up a bit wide. So I have purchased some medium weight black linen, and I'm going to try to make the trim out of that instead and see how that does. And then also the neckline, this lace, it sort of stretched out funny, and when I attached it, it never really laid flat. Also, it's a very patterned, like the pattern is really aggressive, and I always really wanted something a bit finer, slightly more see-through, like a little more transparent. I just wanted it to look a little more refined. To me, this feels kind of chunky. So I think what I'm going to do is take off the neckline, and then I'm going to separately make a dickie to wear underneath this. So I will have, I'll try and find some really lightweight fabric to make a little neckline piece out of. I'll wear that as a dickie underneath, and then the trim will get attached to the gown. So this will actually just be an open neckline. I think that's going to be the easiest thing moving forward, and just ensure that this piece like lays really nice and flat and it looks really good. I need to now seam rip all of this off and we will see what she looks like when she's reduced. I am going to leave the buttons. I like the buttons. I think they actually turned out really well, but all the trim is coming off. So for the trim, who's that down there? So for the trim on the Edwardian gown, I have gone around and around and around and I made samples. There's probably some footage somewhere of me doing that. I have scoured the internet, and I think I have come back to just making this the simplest solution possible. She is up here. So we are trying to replicate, excuse the shadows. I don't know if you can see on, this is terrible footage. So she's up here, and you can kind of just see on the skirt here that it's quilted. The trim is quilted. And the problem that I've run into is any quilted fabric that I can find on the internet is either too thick, it's either too shiny, like it's made of nylon and it's super shiny. The quilting pattern is the wrong size. I've also attempted to quilt this stuff, and again, it makes it too thick and too bulky, and either that or you just can't. If I just quilt the flat fabric, you can't see it. So I feel like I've run through all of my options yet again. I do think this fabric is going to be nicer on the dress than the velvet was. So I'm going to continue forward with this. I think what I'm going to do is just do the plain strips, pipe the edges, and attach those on. And for now, that is going to be the solution. I have notes written somewhere about the lengths I need for all of this. I'm going to start making piping and getting started on that. So I will check in when I have something interesting to show you. All right, I've got all of the trim pieces with their seam allowance traced out, so I have to cut these out. I think I'm going to serge the edges just to make sure that they are good to go. We're not going to have any unraveling issues. And then I have to cut out all of the bias and sew all of the piping. All of the trim on my Edwardian gown has been replaced. I think it looks so much better than the velvet. It's much crisper. Please ignore the wrinkly linen. It's linen and it does that. Yeah, I think it looks so much better. It's much tighter to the garment. It doesn't stick out as much. There's something about it now that feels much more like a summer weight garment instead of a winter garment. I think that is good. A few things left to do on this gown. I did also, while I was doing that, I did reinforce the hem. This hem has a cotton organdy facing on it, and it had just come off. The thread had worn away. So I reinforced the stitching on that with some stronger thread. So all of that is good. Underneath now it's not held up by safety pins anymore. The next steps are you can see I've already checked that off my list. The next steps are I need to finish the belt for this. It's just going to be the same linen fabric. I'm going to do the piping on the edge because I have some piping left, and then it just gets some hooks and eyes on the back. I also need to put a closure on this, probably just a snap to hold that over. But I need to try it on so that I get the spacing correct, so that it's not bunched and it's not pulling too tight, so it stays snapped when it's on me. My back is a bit different than this dress form, so I need to do that. And then I need to work on the neckline. I've ripped out the neckline and I'm going to be making a dickie to go underneath this, and I will explain that more when I get to that point. All right, so the belt is done, all the trim is on, the hem is finished. So now I need to work on the dickie that's going to go underneath and fill in the neckline up here. So what I've done is draft out what I think is going to be just a simple little dickie. I think essentially it's going to be two panels that are 15 inches wide by 17 inches long, with a neck hole in them, and then an opening at the back with a reinforcing placket, or maybe just folded back panels for probably snaps. I did buttons last time and those are a little futzy, so in order to be able to get this on myself, I think I'll just do snaps instead. And then I'll put some ties on the bottom that will tie underneath my arms and keep it on me. I also have the original collar pattern that came with the original gown, and it said on here not to scale, and I measured this and it is definitely not the length of my neck, so I proportionally scaled it up to, this is now half the length of my neck. I'll have to cut this on the fold, and yeah, this hopefully should be high enough. This pattern I'm using is net. It doesn't have seam allowance on it, so I'll have to add seam allowance. On the pattern, this is the size of my neck, so I will cut this opening in once I have all the pieces put together. The other issue that I've run into is fabric. So let me show you up here. She has a very textured lace. And in my original version of this, I had a really thick lace, and it just, I don't know, I feel like it made me look like a giraffe with a sweater on. It was just too thick. So I want to make this dickie out of much finer fabric. I've had a really hard time finding lace to make this out of. So I am going to keep hunting for lace because her original neckline looks lacy. But in the meantime, I have a very thin cotton voile, and I think what I'm going to do instead is make pin tuck fabric. So I'm going to make a bunch of width of pin tuck fabric and then cut this out and the neckline out of the pin tuck fabric and use that instead. And then maybe a little ruffle at the top of the neckline. Oh, excuse me as I yawn. Maybe with a little ruffle at the top of the neckline. So we will see. Hello, hello. All right. Well, are you sick of this mirror yet? I sure am. Great. Well, this is my Edwardian dress, and it's basically done. So all of the trim has been put on. The belt is done. I got the dicky made out of just some cotton lawn, which I really like. Apologies if this is sitting funny. I can't actually do up the buttons in the back by myself. And there's no one home today to help me. So the dress is hanging slightly oddly, but I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of what the finished thing is going to look like. So I got the dicky finished, and for linen dress, this is incredibly warm. It's so warm putting all this on. So I got the linen, or I got the cotton lawn, little dicky finished, gamp. I don't actually know what these are called. I'm sure there's some fancier French name for them. All of that is good to go. Additionally, so I told you I was searching around for fabric. I just got this in today, which is, oh here, film it this way. I just got this in today, which is essentially a cotton voile with a really beautiful little pattern in it. So I finally found this. I have about a week until costume college, so I think I'm going to make another one of these another one of the dickies in this fabric. And then I'll bring both and just see which one I like better. But I will have two options. I love this because it is more evocative of the original figurine. So that is good. Also, additionally, I am going to be wearing my Londoners from American Duchess, which are the only Edwardian shoes I have. And then again, I have a pearl necklace and some pearl earrings that were my grandmother's. Very simple little things, just enough to kind of finish it off and make it a complete outfit. But I'm super pleased with the way the trim on this all came out. I think it's looking incredibly beautiful. I can't wait to wear it.
All right, guys, that's it. I am ready for costume college. As ready as I'll ever be. I have yet to obviously pack my filming equipment and my personal stuff, but all of my costumes are packed in my bag, and I'm about a week out. So now I have a week to sit around and twiddle my thumbs and just wait to get to leave. So I hope you're super excited to join me. Again, if you haven't subscribed, I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by Christmas. So please hit the subscribe button. Join me on my costume college adventure. Additionally, if you would like to financially support this channel, I would be forever grateful. I'm saving up for some new camera equipment and some more sewing equipment as well. Again, my link to my Ko-fi account is in the description. Again, thank you so much for joining me. I am so thankful for each and every one of you. I hope you're all safe and happy, and I will see you very soon. Bye.